Hello everybody and welcome back to Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. Last time cross-examined Officer Meekins and got a report about the SL9 incident. Marshall is very important to that incident now. The court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Emma didn't come back. Allow me to call the next witness to the stand. The officer in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime. Also, I'm recording this immediately after the last two, so. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Me, partner? Oh, I'm just a man, same as you, wandering the trails of civilization. Occasionally helping the elderly cross intersections when needed. Oh, I know, you're a patrolman. As for my name, if you listen hard enough, you can hear the howling wind calling out. To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor. Howling wind? I've never heard Edward described that way before. Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. Yeah, you're in charge of guarding the evidence room the crime took place. Yeah, what the f... Okay, sorry. It's on my end. It's correct. According to the papers, partner. What do you mean? A desperado's soul is boundless as the desert sands. No paper can sum it up. Maybe it's best we got on with this quickly. Please share with us your testimony of the day of the crime. In English. My job is to keep a wary eye on that bone orchard. They say I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyway. If I remember right, I was at a street-side saloon the time it went down. I'm just an instant traveling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time I hit the trail. I think I just need to press everything, and then I get new information, I think. I can't say I particularly care for your attitude. I can't say I particularly care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Wait a minute, what do you mean by 2 security systems? I mean the security cameras and the ID card reader. I reckon even a cowpoke like you knows about those. Yes, well, what about the fingerprint-activated locks inside the evidence room? Fingerprint-activated locks? What kind of newfangled doohickeys are those? He's not being very helpful. He's not that good with machines or with following orders. Everyone's got their weaknesses, now don't they, Mr. Prosecutor? This one seems like trouble. Okay, Mr. Wright, it's all yours. Wrangle on up, cowboy. Yeehaw! How exactly do you keep an eye on the evidence room? I just made sure none moved in the security camera monitor. That room's so still, even time dies in there. I was just a caretaker who entered the recordings. You interred them? Videos and none aren't that useful. When time would come, I erase the tape. If nothing unusual is recorded, tapes are to be erased every 6 hours. Each time I erased the tape, it felt like I was erasing a part of my life. This guy has a flair for the dramatic, but isn't going to do him any good. So next year, you don't physically enter that room. But you made your rounds on the day of the crime, right? Ain't you heard a word I said, partner? I told you that ain't my style. I'm afraid I don't understand. No desperado and I'll let the rules get in his way. No desperados I know join the police force. So Officer Marshall, on the day of the crime, just between you and me, I didn't set foot in the evidence room that day. There was a rubber glove stuck in the victim's locker. Do you know anything about that? Sorry, partner. Can't say I do. I haven't been that crypt in weeks. How does this guy avoid being fired? Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyway. Whoops. You used to be a detective, so you used the evidence room in the past, correct? Of course, back in the day, my locker was a gold mine of evidence. And yet, you didn't know about the fingerprint locking mechanism. Sorry, partner, I ain't good with machines. I couldn't even tell you how a bike works. That's quite incredible. The sensors on the locker handles cannot be seen. It's well known that some detectives are unaware of their presence. Not even mention it, Detective Gumshoe said something like that, too. Anyway, it doesn't seem that this is relevant to the crime. Can you tell us what you were doing when the crime took place? What were you doing in a place like that? I was eating spaghetti. Not even angel steak lunches can beat that Paul's Vongol Seppi pasta. Do you mean tell us you abandoned your police duties to eat some noodles? Not all desperados eat tacos, partner. That's not what I meant. I hope this at least taught you a lesson. That's strange. It's usually what Edward says. Did you not want to raise this year? Yeah, that's weird. Out of ammo, Officer Marshall. That's right, partner. Or as you call it, evidence. If you plan to pin me to this crime, then you better draw. Otherwise, you're just wasting my time. My steel horse is waiting to carry me back west into the sunset. One thing seems clear, despite being responsible for guarding the evidence room. The witness doesn't appear to have seen anything. Texans don't take orders from anyone. Everyone knows that. Apparently, superiors don't. Okay, I have a trump card up my sleeve, so I best keep it cool. If you're out of ammo, it's time to hit the trail. Okay. Well, this does have your prints on it. Yeah, there we go. Officer Marshall, let me strike you as odd. That is, you be called and testified like this. After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime. And yet you dragged me down here. Explain yourself, partner. It's quite simple. You have a very large trail behind the scene. Or to be exact, a handprint. This is real good, partner. Like I said, I'm the caretaker of that crib. I pay my respects, that is, make my rounds about once a month. It's only natural my fingerprints would be in there. I only wish it were, officer. But you see, your fingerprints were covered in blood. Goodness, what's the meaning of this? Your blood-stained fingerprints were at the crime scene. The blood was wiped away, however. A luminol test clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall, it seems to me there ain't a person in this room with a head on its shoulders. I take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall, about the blood-stained fingerprints. Very well, you may begin your testimony about your fingerprints found at the scene of the crime. Like I said, it's only natural my fingerprints be in that evidence room. One of them just happened to be in the same spot the bloodstained handprint. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. The blood stain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Well, didn't you know that murderer was wearing gloves? See, I had nothing to do with it. How do you know that? Witness's explanation appears valid, but there's room for doubt. Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt, partner. The defense may not understand the witness. This guy's hiding something, and I know exactly where to press. So question, is that like a little... I can't really tell, is that a tiny... it'll come back. Is that a tiny cowboy hat attached to him? Kind of like a badge? Hey, this looks weird to me. Like, what is that? Okay, how do you know this? How do you know that? I may be a loner, but I still do my job. I keep up on the reports. There was a blood stain at the scene thought to be left by the murderer. That's right. It was found in Detective Gumshoe's locker. However, no fingerprints were detected on that handprint. Yeah, I think we tried that too. So that would mean the murderer wearing gloves happened to place his hand on top of Officer Marshall's fingerprint. That's the only logical conclusion. I can't let him squirm out of this one. I want to look at this again. It won't let me fast forward? Are you serious? You've gotta be kidding me. Let me fast forward! Doesn't look like he's wearing gloves. Can't really tell. I gotta find something decisive. Oh, I remember. Okay. I know what I gotta do. I think I present... What is it? Objection! Ooh, wrong statement to present that? Fuck. Oopsie! not related. There's a difference night and day. Kind of like cereal and cereal. One gotta do with breakfast while the other's a type of murder. He's right, although seemingly alike, they're totally different. I don't see what hominins had to do with this. That's because you, how do you put it, pay your respects once a month? Yeah, that's right. Then one more thing. That locker happens to be mine. What? What do you mean? I mean what I said. That's the locker I used as a detective and the locker I still use. All that's there now, though, is a heap of broken dreams. I see. It'd be strange if my prints weren't all over that locker. Apparently his fingerprint data was never changed. He must have been using the fingerprint lock without even knowing it. I had to update that. Are you starting to get the picture, partner? The picture? This seal blood. In the desert, it's just food for the buzzards. There's only one reality, and that's this. Security tape. So long as my trail isn't there, you can't say otherwise. This isn't getting us anywhere, Mr. Wright. Please consider carefully where you're going with this. I know where I'm going with this. I tried to just do it too early. They didn't want me to update the fingers first. Now I present the video. God. Oh, press and stun, and the game's gonna have us examine the video. Damn it! I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm trying to do. God, jeez. What do you mean by that? You want Tiny as crime, isn't that right, partner? If so, that video is the only direct evidence you have. But that video's next use is called blind spots. Blind spots? Places you can't see. The camera's panning back and forth. The floor isn't shown. If someone was familiar with the camera's position, he could leave the room without being caught on tape. We don't have time for your speculations, Mr. Wright. Well, Mr. Wright, if you could show us evidence in this video. Yes! Get to the thing that I want to do! God damn it! Tread carefully, Mr. Wright, or you might wind up being the one making the mistake. I know what I wanted to do this whole time! God! Fast forward to the end of the video. This song, it'll get stuck in your fucking head. Do 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 da 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 da. Take that! Bring your attention back to the security camera. It's a mistake I'm afraid you'll soon not forget, Officer Marshall. The days are short in Texas, and so are our tempers. Could you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less? Very well. You can clearly be seen in this video. Exactly 8 words. Not bad, partner. The key lies in a certain locker shown in the video. That locker with the white cloth sticking out. That was the witnesses, I believe. Now then, let's go find the video of it. Very slowly, I might add. Extremely slowly. God. Well, at least we're not hearing the Blue Badger song over this. Oh, the white cloth. It's gone. What's the meaning of this, Officer Marshall? When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the intern at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away. Order! Order! It would seem that's the only... Hold your horses. Sorry, partner, but you got the wrong man. So what if my locker was open? That doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. The murderer needed to hide something, so he opened the locker and stuck it in. It's not my fault he happened to choose mine. Why is everyone staring at me like I'm a wanted man? This guy isn't just playing dumb. He really doesn't know. I hate to rain on your parade, but you're the only person who can open that particular locker. Oh yeah? I call you bluff. You say I opened that locker? Now prove it. Evidence lock. Boom. A fingerprint sensor? We talked about this earlier today, but you seem to have forgotten. Lockers can only be opened by detectives they belong to. What kind of crazy talk is this? Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people in the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks. So, Sheriff, what do you have to say in 8 words or less? I only got 1 word for you, partner. No! Order! Witness, explain yourself. If this is a joke, it's the worst I ever heard. I assure you there's no joke, Officer Marshall. Then please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime. Ole! Please answer the question. What, is he now, a bullfighter? That's alright, Officer Marshall. I don't think we can figure the rest out from here. We can't. Have a look at these floor plans. There's no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall. If that's so, then where was the witness? It seems Mr. Wright has an answer. That's right. The only possible conclusion. Well then, let's hear it. Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime? He was right here. Officer Marshall was standing right here. There, but that's what the victim, Detective Goodman, was. Correct, unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. I believe the victim in this video is Officer Marshall. It was you dressed up like Detective Goodman. But that's preposterous. Officer Meekins witnessed the detective at the crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he knew for sure. I may point out that Officer Meekins did not know Detective Goodman. He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted. When I entered the evidence room, I asked him if he was a hard, sir. Yes, and now Detective Goodman responded. He said he put a knife on me! Right. Something about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had his ID card, why didn't he just show it? Yes, he would have needed it to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it. The answer is simple. He couldn't show it. As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on his ID card. Oh, I get it. If he showed that, his car would have been blown. Officer Meekins would have realized that man wasn't Detective Goodman. If anything to say, that's Officer Marshall. You got quite an imagination, partner. We got a term for that. It's called circumstantial evidence. Circumstantial evidence? He's still denying it. You're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective. Unless you've had a lot of evidence proving I dressed up as the victim. I can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence? Any evidence prove beyond a shadow of a doubt? So Marshall dressed up as a victim. Please do. He insulted my beard twice. I am so sick of it. I can see a fear in your eyes, partner. Seems you're the one who couldn't take the desert heat. This can't be happening. So obviously the one. What can I do? It looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. I'll pass on you what someone told me when I was just starting out. When you run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics. The basics. For me, that would be what Mia used to tell me. Nick, try thinking outside the box. I shouldn't look for proof that Officer Marshall was in disguise. But rather, I should look for evidence that came about because he was in disguise. Okay. Why do you think this locker was open in the first place? What do you mean? There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yet he did, despite the chance it might be discovered later as it had been. It means he didn't originally plan to open his locker. I'll go on to defend his argument. Officer Jake Marshall turned up at Detective Goodman at the time of the crime. Then after the crime was committed, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason. The fact that a white cloth is sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that he opened it in order to put the cloth inside. So, just what exactly is this piece of cloth? Perhaps the video again! take yet another look at the video. God, I think even the judge is sick of looking at this fucking video. Fast forward, fast forward. Come on. I'm surprised just how much of this case I am remembering, though.
Take that!
For some reason, you described yourself as Detective Goodman. You entered the evidence room. I don't know what that reason was, yet. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. When he asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood. A bloody white coat. You couldn't just walk out like that. So you hid the coat in your locker. Not bad, huh, partner? Now then, Officer Marshall, are you ready to tell us the truth? Looks like I underestimated you. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, if you were only half as persistent then as you are today, we all wouldn't have to be here now, would we? Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did, all of it. Alright. It seems the time has come. I had to do it that day. I just couldn't stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting to see Officer Meekins. I knocked him out. I managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. I had to press all that. So the supposed victim was really you. But there's only one thing I still don't understand. Large quantities of blood traces were found on the floor at the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be? Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess is he's the donor. It looked like too much blood for that.
Hold it!
When you say it, you mean... Do you even have to ask, partner? That's all 9%. 2 years have passed since that case was closed. It's going to completely end with that transferal that day. Not if I have anything to do with it. That incident's not over. But what do you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room? When a case is closed, only the detective who was in charge of it can look through it. The evidence? I wanted to have a look at it myself, one more time. No matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner. The case is mine. Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why did he care so much about it? That day was my last chance, that's why I... Why do you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman? If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transferal, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere. So you did to fool the security camera. And the detective's ID card? I stole that on the morning of the incident. So that really was why Goodman started filling out that lost item report. I returned his ID card. I left it on the floor in the prosecutor's office parking lot. The ID card I found in there was of Officer Marshall. So essentially, you managed to succeed despite your lack of foresight. What do you mean, partner? I mean the fingerprint activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Normally that locker shouldn't have opened. So it opened because a rubber glove stuck in the door by chance. Then Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall.
Hold it!
You pulled a knife on Officer Meekins and tried to drive him off? Let's just say I was a little surprised. I only planned on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that short time. Officer Meekins is certainly the one in a million type of person. Mistaking the detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID. I have to think a little more about his raise this year. Why did Edgeworth had so much influence? Anyway, he threw himself at me and I ended up cutting himself slightly. I'm sorry it had turned out this way. Me knock him out and everything. Hey, what happened to your knife? Oh, you mean this one? I don't know what to say. So what happened next? So, you did your research beforehand. Those who got in desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I didn't think it'd make a difference, though. Security tape erased every 6 hours to go on its plan, no footage would have been left. However, you bloodied your code in the struggle with Officer Meekins. If someone was in the security room when I came out, the jig would have been up. I opened my locker and stashed it in there. What's Officer Meekins doing that time? What else? He was sleeping like a baby. So what you're saying is on that day, there wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. But the bluff on the scene certainly indicates a crime took place. What are you, blind? The victim showing that David me, and I'm not dead yet, partner. So you stole the evidence from the locker. Actually, no, I didn't. Why not? When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone. What? Mr. Edgewood, where's that evidence? It's still missing, Your Honor. The technical locker was already... Someone else stole the evidence. Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing? Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer. Why do you do this? Stealing a detective's ID, injuring a police officer, this is no small offense. Why, moreover, you're an officer yourself. It's with serious consequences. It can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in salary. Not that salary cuts are ever a valid solution. Like I said, this isn't your case. This one's mine. I'll do anything it takes to get an answer I'm satisfied with. The witness has an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more. I can't just forget the SL9 incident. You know why? But that case was solved 2 years ago, wasn't it? Well, that's the reason the evidence was stored in the evidence room. Joe Dark was convicted of those crimes. One thing I can say for sure, he deserved his sentence. I remember the Joe Dark case. It involved serial murders, didn't it? I don't intend to complain about how it turned out, but there's some that still bothers me. Some went down that trial. Some no one will talk about. What happened? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out. Why is he so concerned with that incident? Maybe I should present him with what I think is. I have a feeling we might appear sooner or later. Everyone involved here is related in some way to that case. Come on. There we go.
Objection!
Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident. Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner. I have the SL9 incident file here. The name Marshall is mentioned in here. In a list of murder victims. Neil Marshall. Are you related to this man? Neil Marshall. Yeah, I'm sure you've heard the name. 2 years ago, he received the same lousy prosecutor award you got. What? A prosecutor? He must be talking about the King of Prosecutors award. Now I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did. That's right. He was killed. And the case fell into your hands. But what's his relation to you? He was my brother. He was investigating the murders with Damon Gant, chief detective at the time. The group of detectives I was part of worked under them. We were desperate to prosecute the killer. Joe Dark. My brother fought Dark and was killed. That was the first time Dark left behind any evidence. That was all we needed. He was arraigned and incarcerated. The case was finally closed. At least according to the public records. What do you mean? My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Dark. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight. And that's it. That's your reason for your insane actions. That's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me. Well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened to the police department on the day of the crime. That was the last day the SL9 in the case could be reopened. Not satisfied with its resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence. Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekin confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled. Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the police department that day. Things that happen by chance never cease to amaze. At exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department. Chance it's gotta be more than just that. So there was murder at the police department on the day of the crime. That means the murder in the prosecutor's office parking lot was the real one. Which in turn means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky. But wait, a verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial. Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today. But there's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department. It seemed to me, this boy's got the draw on you, partner. All the mysteries at the police department have been uncovered. No contradictions remain. The murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lana Sky. There were no errors in the testimony of the witness, Angel Star. If you have a response, make it one word or less. I rest my case. It seems this trial has reached its conclusion. There's no room for doubt. Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time disproving the alleged murder at the police department. There's no doubt that proof today is true. The apparent murder on the security camera tape really was fake, but I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana guilty. Now then, the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant. Yeah, there we go. Your Honor! Wait! Emma? The defense has an objection. Scientific objection, right? What do you mean, right? Mr. Wright, are you this girl's guardian? Your Honor, in a sense. Please, Your Honor, I'm asking for a minute of your time. Please hear me out. Mr. Edgeworth, please. I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3. I was kind of in shock. You found out the SL9 answer referred to Joe Dark killings? Now she mentioned it. Names of both Sky sisters were in that file. But that's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day. So I knew his fingerprint had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing. The other handprint. You mean the traces of blood found in Detective Gumshoe's locker? Where no fingerprints were found on it, right? No, but I figured if I examined it scientifically, I'd be sure to find a clue. So I ran over there and looked at it again. So you find some? No. Uh-huh. Sorry, I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all. Is that all? It's only, man, I'm just a high school student. And I'm just an attorney. Now, Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clue we have. We can't find something wrong with them? Please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. I'm going to say a lot to you. Oh, boy. Time's up now then, Mr. Wright. With regard to the incident at the police department, if any reasonable doubt remain, it appears the defense is troubled by the other blood mark. Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered around here. Is there a problem with this? Yes. I'm sorry I can't be more of use, but still, if you can't find anything wrong with that blood mark, Lana will be. Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day. Yes, Your Honor. Ever I need to concentrate, it's now. What could be wrong with that handprint in Detective Gumshoe's locker? Could there be something I'm missing?
Objection!
This handprint left at the crime scene clearly shows a contradiction. The only thing that seems clear is your grasping, Mr. Wright. You've been staring pretty intently at those floor plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them? Yes, this is strange. Take a look at these floor plans. Something is missing. Missing? You mean something hasn't been drawn on there? Yes, something that, when drawn, will completely change the meaning of the blood mark. Let us pray the defense isn't simply trying to buy time. Very well, Mr. Wright. With all this evidence here, there's gotta be something I can use. The question is, which item can prove something is missing in the floor plans?
Take that!
What about that piece of plywood? Blue Badger, mascot of the police force, defender of truth, guardian of proof. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. Please look at the floor plans of the crime scene. Blue Badger is not here. So watch what happens when we put him in. This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime. Well, what? That's right. So long as the Blue Badger's dancing here, it would be impossible to place a handprint in this spot of the locker. What? So that means, just exactly what does that mean? It means it can't be done. What are you saying? Blood traces are undeniably found in the locker. Don't look at me, I didn't put it there. Mr. Wright, think it through scientifically. On that afternoon, Officer Meekins was the one who brought the Blue Badger to the evidence room, right? After he put it down, it would be impossible to leave a handprint in the locker. So that must mean his blood mark was left there before the Blue Badger was brought in. Just one moment. I'm not allowed such a far-fetched boulder to ask in my courtroom. It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, in the police department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once but twice. But how? One time is captured on his tape, taken by a security camera. Officer Meekins cut his hand from which a trivial amount of blood fell. The problem is the other time. Someone blood prior struck a blow shown on his tape. Had to have been Detective Goodman when he was really murdered. That's ridiculous, I refute you. The murder portrayed in the security tape has been proven to be a fake. However, that does not explain the blood mark found in this locker. So then, assuming this murder you purport really happened, when did it take place? I demand you show evidence that proves it occurred. When the first incident occurred. To summarize, the defense claims that prior to Officer Meekins being cut by Jake Marshall, who was disguised as Detective Goodman, another incident took place in that evidence room. The blood mark on the locker proves this. Very well. Tell us then, when did this first incident occur? Proof must be presented. Proof that shows when the murder took place. There's only one piece of evidence that can show that. Now will defense please present evidence what shows when the first crime took place. The ID card record. If the crime took place inside the evidence room, then the perpetrator would have to have entered the room. In order to do so, an ID card is required. An ID card. Oh! The ID card record. Officer Meekins brought the Blue Badger panel in the evidence room at, let's see here, 4:50 p.m. If the crime took place before that time, it would be 4:40. Ah! Miles Edgewood, just what have you done? I never figured you had nerve, boy. Put off that act, witness. It doesn't take a lot of thought to figure out it couldn't have been me. Nope, I ain't getting it. I'm afraid I don't understand either. It's clear from the luminol test that blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood. That means the blood from the first crime was wiped away by the real murderer. I would have had just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible. That would mean the crime must have taken place before Mr. Edgeworth entered the evidence room. Let's take a look at the chart again. There's only one other cardinal number remaining, 777. Talk about a lucky number. But wait, that doesn't make sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room? Since there's no record of his card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. That's the only plausible explanation. He went in with 777777. Mr. Edgewood, please look into this ASAP. Find out whose ID number is 77777777. That's 17 too many, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of that ID card. At least at present. What? Explain yourself, son. The ID number 7777 belongs to someone with the rank of captain or higher. Someone who is a so-called executive officer. We don't have the authority to acquire such a person's identity. But that's ridiculous, just how? I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There's one situation in which we can be granted such authority. If an official charge is filed against an executive is accepted. An official charge? You're all alike, aren't you? With your cover-ups and your forgeries. That's how a prosecutor office operates.
Objection!
I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I'd appreciate it if you keep your slander to yourself. Slander, is it? Okay. Let me ask a question. Yes? No, not to you. To her, the defendant sitting over there. Your own little executive. Lana? Don't be stupid. She's been charged with murder. Of course we've looked up her ID number. And it's not 7779. Don't play me for a fool, partner. That's not what I want to ask. All I want to know is one thing about that incident. The SO9 incident. Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence? Do you need the witness to repeat his question, Chief Prosecutor? I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for that trial. At the time, we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least, I did. Lana, I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. But before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law. Defendant, just what are you saying? I'll ask you again, Chief Prosecutor. During that trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look me, an investigator, in that crime, in the eye and say you did? Chief Prosecutor, you didn't. I don't have to, Officer Marshall. Why don't you answer? Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to, in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. But Lana, even if it involved forging evidence. Oh, shit. Yeah, that's... See? That's what I'm talking about. No! No! Is the only time this ever happened in a series with the audience being this loud? God. Unless remarks caused such a stir. The chaos in the courtroom could not be quelled. The conclusion of the trial would have to wait until the following day. Yikes.